right, I am here with Jesse Collins, and he's going to give us some information today about his career as a meat scientist. So, thanks for interviewing with me.
Yeah, no problem.
So, the
I'm
first
excited.
thing that I want you to do is just introduce yourself and explain to us what your position is in your job and kind of what your responsibilities are.
Okay. Well, my name is Jesse Collins. I am a senior product development manager for Sam's Club. Um, I've been with Sam's Club for 4 years now, and what my primary responsibilities are around is around the meat and seafood division. And what I do for them is I work on all the new products that they develop, that we develop here. And I do everything from working with our suppliers to helping with formulations to actually finalizing the packaging and what it goes into. And then we make new products and we take those new products and we test them. So we do a lot of testing and with our members and our associates, and then from there we make decisions on what products can go into Sam's Club.
That's awesome. Sounds like a lot of creativity goes into that as well.
Yeah, it's really a challenging job because every day is different. There's new things popping up every day, and we follow a lot of trends. So what's trending from a food standpoint, what customers want from an eating standpoint, from a health standpoint. So we are always thinking about what the population of the United States, what they like to eat, and everybody's different. So we get to dive into a lot of different areas.
Yeah, that's awesome. So the next thing that I wanted to ask is, did you always know that you wanted to be a meat scientist? Because a lot of people haven't even heard of this. So how did you get to where you are?
Yeah, so I grew up on a small town in Kansas, out in the middle of nowhere, western Kansas, and really I grew up around agriculture. So I grew up with a kind of a farming, ranching background, but I really didn't know what I wanted to do. So I just took an opportunity to go to junior college, and I focused on agriculture as just a basis. And by taking a few agriculture classes in different areas, one of the classes I took was an animal science class. And within that animal science class, I really learned more about animal ag production. And one of the main things in there was around, how we feed America and the meat products we create. And, I wanted to learn a lot more about that. So there's different opportunities within the college, and one of them was a meats judging program. And it's a competition where you compete with other universities, and I got involved in that program, and then I really just kind of fell in love with the industry after that. So from there, I decided to continue my education, and I went on to Texas Tech University, which is known for a strong meat science program. And what they do there, what they study is the whole life cycle of meat, starting with the animals at the beginning, learning about how to grow them, how to, from a ranch standpoint, from a feeding standpoint, all the way to the end where it goes on a plate in your kitchen at home, or where it goes to a restaurant table in front of you. So you learn that whole process from kind of beginning to end, and then from there I decided, what's next? What do I want to do? There's a lot of different opportunities within meat science. You could go to work for the USDA. You could go to work for a lot of these companies out there in production. You can go to work for nutrition companies focused around animal and human nutrition. A lot of my colleagues went on to actually go to medical school and things like that, or veterinary school, because the classes we take are actually the same core curriculum, because it's very science-based.
Yeah.
And then from there, I decided that I wanted to further my education, so I went and I got a master's degree, and I got a master's degree focused in muscle biology, which really you're diving in more to the science behind the meat. And then my passion really grew around developing new products. So I started to think about, hey, what can I make that no one else makes, and how cool would it be to make something that I could put out there that I can say, hey, I made that. And so I really like the area of research and development. So after college, I went to work for one of the largest beef companies in the U.S., which is Cargill, located there in Wichita, Kansas, and worked for them for 10 years in the beef side of their business. But I also worked with other proteins, pork, chicken, and some turkeys. But yeah, I learned a lot in my time in research and development, which led me to my next career here at Sam's Club.
Wow, that's awesome. So it sounds like you really said yes to opportunities and that kind of led you to where you are. It's by
Yeah, yeah. What I tell people is, get out there and learn things, and then some things will spark. Like for me, it sparked when I got involved with the meats judging team and understanding meat itself and all the passion that's around it out there. So I just dove in and I really kind of fell in love with the business. So here I am today.
That's awesome. Can you tell us a couple of the products that you've developed?
Yeah, so starting from my beginning days, I worked a lot on different seasonings and flavors for ground beef. So we worked on everything from hatch chili and cheeseburgers to marinated tri-tips to different ways to tenderize or process meat that gives it more of a tender and juicy eating experience. And a lot of the things we do is really just the science behind it, right? We work on how can we make things more tender, add a value to the customer, because one thing is meat's very expensive. So the one thing I always tell people is you don't have to buy very expensive meat to have a great eating experience. It's really all about how you cook it. So I learned a lot about culinary. I've learned so much about the culinary side of the business. But some of my newest products I've created here at Sam's that I'm really proud of is we've created a new spicy chicken patty that actually just launched about a week ago in the club. So get out there and try it. It's awesome. And really we developed it based off of kind of that Chick-fil-A type sandwich. It's very good, very spicy, and it's probably one of my favorites right now.
Nice. That's awesome. I will definitely be trying that. Hopefully everybody else will too. Okay, next, we've been talking about food safety in our class, so we wanted you to give us your 3 top tips on food safety with meat, and that could be cooking or handling or storing, just 3 safety tips that you would suggest to us.
Well, I'm sure you've heard the old adage, keep it cold, keep it covered, and keep it clean, right? Those are the main things. When it comes to meat, it really depends on what you do and how you prepare it to how it's going to end up from a eating standpoint. But when it comes to safety, if someone eats meat and gets sick, then their chance or their likelihood to go back and eat meat is very low. So we don't want that to happen. We want to keep it as clean as we can. There's a lot of myths out there about big companies don't do very good at meat and they buy cheap meat and all that kind of stuff. It's actually the opposite. Some of the largest companies in the world, like the one I work for, they actually put so much safety parameters around their product to make sure that they're doing the right thing. So besides the whole keep it cold, keep it clean, and keep it covered, the one thing I'd always say is use a meat thermometer. A meat thermometer is your best friend. It's going to make you a rock star at your dinner. It's going to make you the best cook there, but it's also going to keep your family safe. So ground beef is your most risk product. And a lot of people ask me why ground beef is because when you make ground beef, you're actually taking the outside, the trimmings of meat, and grinding it into the interior. So you're taking stuff that could possibly be contaminated on the exterior surface and putting it interior. When you think about a steak is actually sterile until we do something with it. So that's why we want to make sure on ground beef we cook it to 160 degrees, because 160 degrees kills all pathogens within the meat. So a meat thermometer should be in every kitchen, and if you want to be, like I said, a rock star to the people you're around, use a meat thermometer, cook it to the right temperature. Don't worry about what it looks like. Don't worry about what it looks like inside. Don't worry about color. Worry about the internal temperature. So take that meat thermometer and test it. And remember, when you test that meat and you take it off the grill, say you're going for a medium degree of doneness, 145 degrees, you actually want to take that meat off at 140 degrees, because all meat will rise about 5 degrees after you take it off. So check it after you take it off. But from a food safety standpoint, when it comes to any kind of meat, it's all about time and temperature. So
all right. Awesome. Those are good tips. And
Yeah.
then the last question that we had for you is, what is your favorite product to cook?
Yeah. So if I had the last meal right, and they said what could I have and what would I like to cook, one of the best steaks I've ever had. I'm gonna go beef because I'm a beef guy at heart. I love chicken. I've learned so much about seafood this year too that I've fell in love with a lot of good seafood out there. But I'm gonna have to go back to the old adage of beef. It's what's for dinner, right? So it's what I am most passionate about. So my favorite cut of meat is a dry aged Delmonico steak. And what a Delmonico steak is it's a piece of the ribeye towards the chuck end. So when you think about the chuck, it's the shoulder of the animal. So the Delmonico cut is that first cut right off that ribeye towards the end. And the reason I like it a lot is because it's actually four different muscles, and those muscles are surrounded by fat, and they have a lot of internal fat within there. So that way, when you cook it, it'll be super juicy, super tender, super not healthy for you, but it tastes great, and it's good to have one every once in a while. So
Heck yeah.
Delmonico is my favorite.
That's
So,
awesome. We talked about how fat equals flavor. So next time I'm
yes,
with you, I will definitely let you make one of those for me and I will sample it.
sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me and to give your knowledge to my culinary classes and career classes. We appreciate your time, and I am just very thankful for all of your knowledge.
Yeah, well, thank you guys, and good luck. And if you have any other questions, reach out to me.
All right. Will do.
All
Thanks.
right, bye.
Bye. That's awesome.
We get to dive into a lot of different areas.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So it sounds
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome. I will definitely be trying that. Hopefully everybody
that's nice.
awesome.
That's
Those
nice.
are good
Thanks.
tips. That's awesome.